Hi, Paul. Welcome back.
You,
Great. Great, Paul. Thank you very much. I think we are on the clock uh, for this evening and for the event uh, I was anticipating to talk to you about. Great. Before anything, I just want to have a quick introduction about you to the audience after because this is a recording session and I would love to post it in my LinkedIn and make use of your insights to my contacts as well. Great. Paul D Lowe, founder and president of World Game Changers. The Paul and I, we know each other through this opportunity he gave me to be leading the Asia for the World Game Changers. So, for some of you who may not know about the World Game Changers, it's a community interest charity, and with building a foundation, the organization supports the other charities and good causes all over the world, globally, I would say, and around the four key areas. It's on poverty, education, health, and environmental sustainability kind of thing. It's a great initiation by Paul, and I'm proud to be part of it. I'm hoping to do some good work with you, Paul. And coming to today's topic of EI and AI through the eyes of a recycled teenager. So when I heard first time, I know that Paul is involved in this project. I was really fascinated to understand what is it about. And of course, he did give me insights a couple of times, and I couldn't wait to bring this event together so that the more people will be benefited to know about this or maybe just enjoy the context. And my version, so I'm calling it as a non-tech version of Recycled Teenager, EI and AI to the eyes of Recycled Teenager. The reason being, the Paul is not a techie, but artificial intelligence all about tech. So I think that's where the humorous part comes in. But at the same time, I guess now he's a great storyteller. There must be a reason why he's involved in this great work, and with many other authors, around 8 or 9 authors involved in writing this book. And I'm really, really fascinated today to talk about it. Paul, welcome once again.
thank you. Great to be here, Kieran.
Great. If I may, I would like to ask um, storytelling on its own. So, what is the significance of storytelling and how it could impact the people's perception on a particular thing we talk about in terms of storytelling? You can take an example of artificial intelligence because the fear around it to a lot of people. But I think through your insights, I would like to know, how storytelling can overcome that fear.
Okay, so let's start from a very broad foundational perspective around storytelling. Let's park the AI aspect for one moment. Storytelling, I found because of my own challenging experiences in life, which have been many, varied, weird, and wonderful. There's been many strategies that I've discovered over the years. However, the main one I've discovered more than anything is the story we tell ourselves. So, yet again, let's park the AI specific for a moment. And I think it's fair to say that most of us as humans get trapped in fear. And
Yeah.
it can be fear of anything and usually everything. And people will judge us for saying, well, fancy letting that upset you, the fact that, I don't know, you haven't paid your bill on time or whatever, you've got a flat tire. And, I always use the example of a broken fingernail versus a bereavement in the family. Now, they're two very, very, very extreme examples. But
Yeah.
who are we to judge as people that somebody's going to get really, really upset because he or she's broken a fingernail? But our conditioning, our social conditioning will dictate that, well, it's not really serious. It might not be serious in your world, but in that person's world, because it's causing them distress, it's serious.
Yeah.
So no matter what the context is, and I've just, kind of deliberately chosen two polarized examples there, or what the world might perceive, that's not for me to judge, perceive as polarized. But the commonality, the antidote to the fear that underpins both of those is the story we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
So, I had a situation when my grandmother passed in the early 80s, and I didn't let go of that passing. I carried that for years and years and years, and I was judging why are there so many bad people on the earth and my grandmother's gone, and all this kind of stuff. And somebody said to me one day, it was the mother of a lad I used to play football I grew up with, and she said to me one day, Paul, there's an old saying, it's called bury your dead. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. Bury your dead. When that person's gone, that person's gone. They'll never be gone from your heart, but don't cling to it. And that was like a juggernaut hitting me. And I thought, right, okay, the next time I lose somebody really close to me, I'm going to grieve from the moment they pass to the moment they're put in the ground. And when that happens, it's over. Yes, I'll still have my memories. But the point I'm trying to make with this, Kieran, is it was a story I was telling myself around, why do the good die young?
Yeah.
And not that my grandma was young. I think she was in her sort of middle to late 70s, as memory serves. But that's not the point. The point is I created a story around a set of beliefs. And I was like a victim to my own story. And what I've learned over the years from that, and many, many, many other diverse examples, is what story are you telling yourself? Don't worry too much about what other people are telling you, because other people may be on their own agenda. They may try and influence with their experiences, even if it's a good motivation. Our parents are classic examples. I think, or people that bring us up. I shouldn't just say parents, but guardians, carers. People that when we're kids, people in authority, teachers, doctors, adults that have got an influence and a responsibility towards nurturing as children. And, for me, the other thing I've learned within their story is when they pass that story on to us, most times with phenomenally good intentions, it doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it wrong. It makes it their story
Yeah.
based on their understanding of their truth. And of course, stereotypically we'd say, well, our parents are always going to give us the best advice. Yes, in the main, I would accept that. Generally, from a personal experience, I wouldn't accept it because
Yeah.
of the barbaric treatment I had at the hands of my stepfather. So that was a very, very painful lesson for me as I reflect back on it, Kieran, to look about, you know what? It's the story that I tell myself. Yes, I can listen to what Kieran's telling me and others because I trust him or her, and I can take the good bits out and I can leave the bad bits, whatever. And I'll create my own story. The litmus test for that story is, does it serve me well? That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, of course, it takes courage. If we're in pain for example, of losing a loved one, I'm not saying this is easy. I think we get to a stage like, if we exercise any muscle, it gets easier. And that's what I've learned personally to do over the years. Do I get caught in those moments of uncertainty, of pain? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But that's the stark reminder is I need to shift gear. It's like driving along in top gear when you're going uphill. Hang on, I need to change gears down a bit here. So, a bit of a long-winded answer, Kieran, but hopefully that addresses your question.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess, yeah, I think what you're referring to is how important it is what story you tell to yourself. Uh, to make it a negative aspect or a positive aspect, or possibly, to help yourself to move on in life and some of the serious issues it might affect you long term. and don't carry the baggage too long, and that your personal life will get affected. Rather, turn into something positive aspect in your life. So, I mean, great. Thanks for the insight. I think I do get what you're saying. I guess the next thing I want to throw at you, if I may, it's about the emotional intelligence and the significance of it, and also how do you embrace artificial intelligence using AI? So, can you shed some light on that, please?
Yeah, I mean, there again, this started out because, as you quite rightly alluded to, Kieran, and there are a couple of people on this call that know me very well, the Sweeney and PK, Paul Kelly. They will attest that, how can I put this? I don't want to create a limiting belief here, but in line with what you quite rightly said on the introduction, Kieran, I'm probably not the world's greatest techie. And I'm being a bit polite and kind to myself there.
Yeah,
But I've kind of found myself fascinated by this phenomenon called AI, artificial intelligence. Why? And I actually had to ponder on this for a while. Why has this grabbed me the way it's grabbed me? Because I'm, this belief, this story I'm telling myself, I am not a techie. I'm telling myself a story. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. But it's a story I'm telling myself. Why? Well, beliefs. This technology. This is for young people, older people like me. We prefer pen and paper. And if I want to reach out with a message, I'll send somebody a letter. Okay, well, send Kieran and a Sweeney a letter in India then. You only want a quick answer. Will you see them at the weekend? Today's Thursday. You're going to post the letter today. They may get the letter in 2 or 3 weeks' time, by
yeah,
which time it's gone. As opposed to dropping them a text, an email, a WhatsApp. Guys, are you available? Yes, no, 10 seconds. So it's just a story that, a conditioned story.
yeah,
So for me, the foundation of all this relationship, this fascinating relationship between AI and EI, and it's deliberate that I put EI first. It's very deliberate.
yeah,
There's that old kind of dilemma: what's chicken and what's egg? For me, emotional intelligence, absolutely by a mile, comes first. By a mile. And that was really this kind of, why has this AI grabbed me? And then I realized why. It's underpinned by fear. There's a lot of people that are terrified of this. Just to say those two letters, AI. Wow. Now let's talk about something else, Paul. No, let's not. Let's look this. If you're looking on this as a bully, let's look this bully right straight in the eyes. And we're not going to be bullied by it anymore. And it's this fear of this story. So for me, the emotional intelligence that we have as individuals, that's ours. We can deal with that internally. That's ours. And once we've got an understanding of that very broad, solid foundations of our emotions, we're some way to winning the game. We're
yeah,
some way to winning the game. Rather than, if we don't know that, we just hear words like AI and so, oh, that means I'm going to lose my job. I know I'm going to lose my job. I mean, if I had a euro, a rupee, a dollar, every time I heard that, I'd be an extremely rich man financially. And that's the reaction to the story we tell ourselves through fear. Why? Because we don't know any other. So what that highlighted to me, Kieran, is you've got a responsibility, Paul, to go and dig deeper on this. You might be telling yourself a story that you're not a techie and you don't like, iPads and this and that and the other and whatever it is. However, you've got a responsibility
yeah,
to
yeah.
yourself and to others, and particularly when you're involved in a movement like you've alluded to, this fascinating family that we've got called World Game Changers. It's not enough just to say, you know what, don't really agree with AI, don't like it, not my problem. I'll carry on doing. I'll send a Sweeney and Kieran a letter via snail mail, and they'll get it when they get it. Maybe 3 weeks, maybe 6 weeks, maybe never. It's not my problem anymore.
Okay, okay. No, great. I mean, I think the word emotional intelligence itself, I think it has got a great significance in everyone's life. Even it could be a child to the elderly person. So it gives a real connection between you and the other person you're conversing to, if you're able to emotionally understand yourself first, and you're able to emotionally understand others. I think that plays a great role in terms of could be careers, relationships in the families, and relationships cross borders. I guess that's something. I did an emotional intelligence course myself on LinkedIn, and that blew my mind in terms of my perception EI. Even it could be at workplace, it could be your careers, it could be business and personal relationship with the families, and it definitely helped me in terms of understanding the meaning much deeper and connect to people a little bit better than I was before. But again, thanks, Paul, for shedding the light on that. I think a little bit. I would like to know the world game changes because you're the founder and the president. It's such a um, I must say it is such a very, very important decision you made in terms of forming this, with a lot of responsibility on your shoulders to put teams together, people together who believe in the vision and do what you need, what your vision and mission says for the world game changes to be. And it's not one continent, two continents. You're able to connect multiple people from different continents. And they're all volunteers. It is not a easy go in this busy world to make this happen, and which I think you get it going for more than 2 3 years now. So, and I met most of them in your team. So it's just strikes me to, I think, take the opportunity to hear from you about what game changes, what made you to start, and where you see it going, and what good work, probably one or two examples you've done, or the charity has done so far.
It's a great question. In terms of, when we look at any community initiative, any contribution, whether it's to an individual, a community, a global community, no matter what it is, usually that comes from pain of one person. I've spoken to countless people that have formed social enterprises, non-profits, charities, community groups, you name it. And the one common factor in that is I don't want people to experience the pain that I experienced. And then, in terms of my big why, and it actually went a lot deeper than this because I've been on this path all my life since childhood, doing things that I've sometimes questioned, why am I even doing this? But trusting, faith. This is what my faith is for me. And I'm not talking in any religious context. I'm talking there's something inside that burns that says, this is the road you're going to go down. And my head says, no, but that's ridiculous. And that's why, and I know I'm kind of going off the main sort of strand a little bit, but please bring me back on, Kieran, because I get so passionate around questions like this. I tend to sort of dance all over the place, and then we'll end up talking about the price of fish in Bangalore, and that's got nothing to do with the question
Not
you
at all.
asked me.
No, we are in control. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, so do bring me back into line. You see, already I've gone down a rabbit hole. I'm starting to get really passionate now. But this,
I like that.
this this aspect of the big why, I just know it's right, and I know it's right, and I mean way beyond any ego level. It's something, as I've said, I've been doing all my life. But the last 3 years, as you allude to, World Game Changers has come into its own, and I won't kind of quote the mission, the vision. Although I'll quote the values, because if anybody really wants to dig down onto the kind of the nice words, we've got a website. But really, Kieran, I answer questions like this, not with nice words, but what I perceive as truth.
Yeah.
And not truth in any idealistic way, truth in a way that it's proven. So when you speak to people within World Game Changers, they'll say, do you know what? Yeah, this holds water. This is true. It's been an amazing support network in my family. I'm proud to be part of this family. And we all need that, because as growing up as a teenager, I was isolated. I was vulnerable. I was insecure. And I realized, probably more than most, because all the challenges I was going through, which, led to an early addiction. I was addicted to alcohol at the age of 10. I was on the streets at 14. I was very violent. But I realized the power of family.
Yeah.
How immense that is. I wasn't very good at practicing it, by the way. It was that theory and practice. Oh, this is great. You need family. I find mine a little bit. I had a little spell in kind of gang culture, but I found that wasn't for me, because I kind of look back on that now and know that I was a leader, not a follower. And I struggled with people that, why do you follow? Stand up and be a leader. You've got your own thoughts. You've got your own voice. You've got your own values.
Yeah.
Stand for them, because you matter. You count. Oh, I'm just a little nobody, people would say. No, you're not. And that used to make me angry. No, you're not. And I never understood any of this on an intellectual level, but I understood it in my heart enough to say, come on, one can become two, two can become four, four can become eight. That's simple compounding.
Yeah.
And it goes back to this emotional intelligence. So long as we can get it right the best way we can from an emotional point of view, i.e. being the best we can be, then the influence that we're having with another person, that's going to rub off. Some might call sharing love. And I think that's the massive, massive, powerful energy that we've got within World Game Changers. Because as you know, and Aswini and PK on the call know, these guys are part of it. And that's what we do. We pay no heed to labels, skin colour, sexual orientation, all these labels, rich, poor, gay, straight, black, white. We don't care. We deal with human beings and emotions and the rawness and the truth of what's going on in their world, and sharing and confiding in each other for support. That's family. That's massive.
Yeah, if I may, I agree. I agree. That's a family, definitely. If I may ask you, is there any one, two examples you can give the World Game Changers participated in any of the projects across the world?
Yes, we've planted food forests, 3 food forests in Africa. We also sent a lot of kit, football kit from my hometown club and PK's hometown club, Nottingham Forest. We sent them out to a village in Africa, Bimbali, I think it was called. And interesting story there, because when it got to the other end, I'll choose my words very diplomatically here. The local authorities wanted to charge a lot of tax to let the package through.
All right. Okay.
This was a gift to young kids. I won't go any further than that, because I don't kind of
Understood.
seem to be it's not a political meeting. This isn't. I'll share those
It's all
thoughts.
with good intention, you said, I think.
Yes,
Yeah,
the kit did get through, and we had a photo, and I love this photo. There was this young boy, I don't know, he must have been about 8, 9, 10 years of age, and he'd got this Forest shirt on, and it was more like a dress. It absolutely buried him, because it was an adult shirt from the first team at Nottingham Forest. So here's this young kid got this shirt on, but he was so proud of it. Why? Because it had got the Forest badge. He didn't care that it looked like a skirt or a dress. He wasn't bothered about any of that. I've got a Forest shirt on, and if you want my Forest shirt, you're going to have to fight me for it.
Great. I mean, with that note, I want to steer a little bit towards the fascinating book we released, Kindle, recently, and with am I right? 8 or 9 authors involved in total to put this book together. And you're one of them.
There's 9 of us been involved, and Paul Kelly was involved in designing the front book cover as well. So it's very much a collaborative effort. And You
And
know,
I
just
want to, yeah, sorry, Paul. I guess I think I'm excited to get about the book and being released in Kindle. I know that a lot of people would love to write a book, and it could take lifetime, and probably they never did it. But you guys has pulled a book together, and it's now available for people online. So and also talking about a very important topic and a very important fear to address by the people worldwide. And I have great respect to that, and thank you very much for giving me opportunity to to talk about this once again. So I mean, coming back to this, the EI and AI through the eyes of recycled teenager. So yeah, who is a recycled teenager? And can you just give me brief? If I want an avatar of a recycled teenager, would I put Paul in avatar, or who is he or
right. The
she?
recycled teenager stems from me looking back on my life because as a youngster up till the age of 8 and in yeah well up till the age of 10 really that's when things really went downhill fast. But I was labelled a child genius in my early years, and that wasn't without its shortcomings either, because I didn't think the way that my peers thought I was on. I saw so much injustice even as a kid. I didn't understand it, but
Yeah,
it made me different and I was thinking things through and seeing things that not only did my other kids not get, but the adults didn't get me either. My own mother didn't get me, but she was loving towards me. I can always remember, I'm just flying off. There was a guy in the pub once, this was in adulthood, and was at the bar, and my mother was there. And he said to my mother, her name was Marley, and he said, "You know what, Marley, and I've got your lad weighed up." My mother, bless her, she was a very colourful character, and she didn't hold back on expletives or swearing.
yeah,
She expressed herself very strongly, and obviously I won't repeat verbatim, but she put the guy in his place. She said, "I'm Paul's mother, and I haven't got a clue who he is, so you've got no chance. Now take your drink and leave us alone," or words to that effect. And I think I just offer that, Kieran, to kind of exemplify how what I was up against, and I didn't understand it because to me, I had nothing to compare it to. I just knew that I was different. I was an outcast. I was kind of antisocial. I was this. I was that. But there were certain things that was passionate in my life, and this was caring for others. But because of the downward spiral that my world took from the age of 10 onwards,
yeah,
it maybe got a bit distorted in how I showed that care for others. Because one of the things, and I've still got tinges of this conditioning, is if I see injustice or if I saw injustice towards a woman or a child, I would kick off. And I got myself in a lot of trouble over that. Why did I do that? Because of the story I was telling myself. My mother took a lot of beatings to try and protect me. She got overpowered. I took the beatings as well. So violence towards women and kids, I've still got extremely, extremely strong views against.
yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks for sharing that. Um, I want to just probably touch base on one of the chapters, in the part two, the integrating AI and emotional intelligence in healthcare. I think your colleague Dr. Harvey Castro has, given some insights on that. So yeah, it's very interesting how you're trying to explain in this book, or you as a team and your colleague primarily, Dr. Harvey, integrating AI and emotional intelligence in the healthcare. So can you just probably give us insights on why healthcare came up in this when we are talking about AI and AI?
Well, yet again, Kieran, as if you already alluded to with World Game Changers, there's four kind of schematic areas that we're focusing on. Health is absolutely, in my humble opinion, right at the very top of the tree, right at the very top. Because if we haven't got our health, what have we got? What have we got? And Dr. Harvey he's an American, and I think it's fair to say he's top of his game in many respects. He's an immensely well-respected figure, generally speaking as well, particularly in the medical field. And I was fascinated. So, in putting this book together, this foundation of EI, and then we've got this thing knocking on our door called AI. I wanted to bring in people that understood both so that they could give people, dare I say, like me, that haven't got that elevated view and that appreciation, particularly of AI. I want to understand more. I have a responsibility to understand more. So for me, I'm reaching out to what I've perceived to be some of the best in the business. And I want he or she to give me their views and thoughts, and we'll bring it all together around key topics. Health, poverty is in there.
Yeah.
Education is in there. The 4 schematic areas. Environmentalism is in there. All those areas that you mentioned, those 4 areas, Kieran, they're all in the book. That's not coincidence. Yeah. That's deliberate.
Okay. Great. That's fascinating. Thank you very much. I guess whoever would love to access this book, I mean, I'm going to post this recording to the to my connects in LinkedIn and beyond. And I guess it's easily accessible in Amazon Kindle, and I'm hoping that they'll be able to get more insights from the book. And here I think we have any of the audience, like Ashwini, Paul. Do you want to ask any questions, Paul? I have some time, few minutes.
Because it is a subject of interest. Everybody is slowly starting to pick up. Just before, I won't say it's a coincidence. Just before this, I joined this meeting. I was physically meeting somebody, and we were discussing about AI's intervention in real estate, which is an area of interest of Kiran as well. So I was wondering how would AI help in real estate also. So this person, there's a person, Doctor. His name is Dr. Wei. He's from Bangkok, and he's actually created a platform in which this platform would be having 10 different verticals, out of which is completely AI based, out of which one vertical is real estate. And
Okay.
he's also, there are a few other verticals where he will be helping, AI would be helping LGBTQ community, and then AI would be taking care of infertility, that is again related to medical fraternity. So now that this book has come up, Paul has initiated this. So
Yeah, I think it's
still there is a lot to know in from my perspective, that I'm not a techie. I don't understand at all. So again, there's a lot to know how AI is slowly entering every sector, and eventually it will change the complete dynamics of the life we are living now.
Yeah. If you want to overcome this fear, Ashwini, go and listen to the book.
I'll do that.
Great. Yeah, is there anyone else would like to ask a question? Paul, do you have anything to ask?
So, Paul, do you perceive yourself to be a recycled teenager who has gleaned emotional intelligence along the way, and now wants to revisit his teenage world with all of the emotional intelligence you've gained along the way, to go, actually, without the knowledge that I gained through my ups and downs, I wouldn't be able to embrace the challenges that I'm about to embrace with AI?
Good question. All of the above. I'm thinking of entering politics because I seem to be saying that quite a lot. All of the above. It's a great get out of jail statement, isn't it? When in doubt, just say all of the above. But yeah, I mean, the recycled teenager for me is going back to, and I kind of didn't finish the thread, but this, as a youngster, I was very precocious, not only academically with my mind, but also with sports. I was very gifted. Of course, I felt that was all robbed and taken away from me, when my mother remarried and all this stuff, later emerged and took me down dark paths. But somehow, my faith never left me. And it was that knowing that one day, all this experience I'm gathering, I mean, I'm making sense of it now, but there was that deep knowing that was there, that one day this was going to make sense. And I was so confused and hurt and despondent in my world for decades, not just a few years, but for decades. So just going back to the concept of the recycled teenager, I believe that we can all be recycled teenagers. We can all turn back the hands of time. You know, you look at timeline therapy, without going too deep, happy times in your life, or what was the thing that derailed you or took you down a different path? And for me, there was many things, and I got deeper and deeper and deeper. But I also am very grateful for those experiences, because when you look at beautiful flowers that emerge, the most strong, beautiful flowers emerge from dark, very dark, earthy soil. Many years in darkness and something beautiful. Martin shared recently, our chairman, he shared recently about the example of the bamboo. This is a great example for me. And I know I'm kind of going, see, this is the passion coming out again, because I've got a million answers to this. And I'm kind of, which one do I give first?
Yeah.
But Martin used that example of the bamboo, didn't he? Where you plant it, you water it, you nurture it for 5 years. Nothing happens. There's hardly any roots growing. Nothing happens. It doesn't raise its head above the ground. And then after 5 years, it grows at a ridiculous amount. I think he said something like, was it 5 feet in 9 days? I mean, it was just mad. It was crazy. And it just continues to grow. And that really is the concept of a recycled teenager. We put all those years in, nothing's happening. Life's hard, life's challenging, life's difficult. But we can take that learning. So for me, being a recycled teenager is all about, I've got that childlike enthusiasm. I've got that curiosity of a child, of a teenager. I want to know more. I want to know about AI. Tell me about AI. But what I've also got, which is kind of what I think what you was alluding to, PK, is this senior wisdom that's come through experience. And when you put childlike curiosity together with senior wisdom, boy, have you got something powerful. That's what being a recycler, and we've all got that within us. And the key to unlocking that is actually, and you won't be surprised to hear this, Kieran, but the story we tell ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's as simple as that. We have a choice. We can either tell ourselves a good story or a bad story. The reality is they're both stories. Well, we may as well tell ourselves one that really lifts us up rather than the victim one. You know, I'm in my 60s now and I should really be slowing down, and, you know, I shouldn't be doing 5-mile runs. Should have, could have, would have. Rubbish. Rubbish.
Yeah. Yeah. Great, Paul. I think, yeah, it's very inspiring that the transformation you had from your difficult past or a difficult childhood to coming to a very, very, what do you say, transformational leader, I would call it, and doing, taking new initiations and being part of the projects, which is very, and being consistent on the on different projects you've been, and also starting World Game Changers and consistently trying to add more and more people to the community and inspiring others and never losing hope. And I think that's a great aspect to it. And even this book, I think I wish really what do you say, heartfully, very well to all of you, the 9 authors who put this together. Needs a lot of effort. I want to write a book, whether will I be able to do it? You know, it needs a lot of commitment and persistence and perseverance to make it happen. Where I think you're giving us an opportunity to put together these experiences and listen in Kindle, make it available for very affordable price. I'm hoping that more and more people will be able to make use of this opportunity and I would do right after this. No, it will be a great opportunity for me as well to listen, re-listen you once again in the Kindle. So apart from that, I guess, and I just want to sincerely thank you for your time today, and I guess uh, um, the techie world probably will see the perception of AI differently after this video goes no to more and more people. So, do you have any? I want to end with one note. Do you have any suggestions to the techies who are trapped into this AI, and probably they have fears, probably they are experts, but still, I know some people would have thought that they're going to lose their jobs, and some people thought that it's going to be very exciting for them. But as a non-techie, Paul, and what is having knowledge in emotional intelligence and how doing a lot of research about artificial intelligence impact on AI, and as a recycled teenager, do you have any couple of suggestions for these techies who are actually, I think, in a world of confusion, and some of them are probably you can help them out to bring a new perspective to the way they think and the story they tell themselves.
Yes, there again, I could give a lot of answers. I could give a lot of general answers on this, and obviously, if I speak to individuals, I can give specific answers. Where this has kind of led me, Kieran, I'm kind of looking at some notes I made around. It's amazing. You write a book, and then you have to look at your own notes to remind yourself what it is you've written about. And people say, well, you've written it, but surely you know what you've written about. Yes, I do, but I can't remember every single word. At the moment, I've got 4 books on the go. So, but to answer your question, I'm just writing. There's 4 parts to the book. So I wrote part 1 and I wrote part 3. You've already alluded to the amazing co-authors did part 2, and then part 4 is Amy Moscow coming at it together as one, which is the tagline for World Game Cheers, how we all come together, irrespective of AI, EI, what have you. So on that part 3, I actually asked ChatGPT 5 questions. Okay, AI, you're so good. Answer these questions then. I'm not going to give you the answers, but I'm going to, if I can, I'm going to give you the 5 questions that I asked ChatGPT AI. The first one: as a teenager, my life was a dark, depressed state that was devoid of hope. What guidance can you give me, or would you have given me, to not only help me survive, but also thrive? I asked AI, ChatGPT, that question. Good answer. It gave a good answer. Second one: as a teenager, despite all my inner turmoil, I knew I was called to serve humanity and leave a significant world-enhancing legacy. Does that sound like egotistical nonsense, or has history proven that people from even the most challenging, darkest of backgrounds can progress and make a real positive change globally? I think you're going to like the answer that ChatGPT gave.
Did you try that, Paul? Did you try asking these questions?
I've put this is in the book.
All right. Okay.
These are 5 questions that I carefully thought out, and I put them to ChatGPT, and I copied their answer directly.
Wow.
And put it in the book.
Yeah.
So the 2 answers to the 2 questions I've just asked, Kieran, are in the book. The third question I asked, yet again, answers in the book. These are great theoretical answers. However, is there a relationship between AI and EI?
Yeah.
I'll give a big clue. There was a categoric yes, 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 yes from AI. Yes, there is. Almost suggesting we can't do it without the EI. And I'm not going to go any deeper than that. I'm dropping little teasers here. The 4th question I ask. Okay, this is inspiring, although surely there will never ever be a substitute for that physical connection between us humans. For example, that reassuring look, that smile, that compassionate hug, or just listening and being there for someone intently. I ask AI that question. What you got to say about that then? You're so clever, you've got all the answers, answer that one. So I was kind of getting a bit, like a teenager, I was getting a bit bolshy, I was getting a bit arrogant. Haha, you won't beat me. So I was going into teenage mode. Or maybe I was being bolshy and arrogant, and that's just who I am. But anyway. And
All
then
right. No, awesome.
finally, I asked ChatGPT my fifth and final question. Taking everything into account, I know we humans are already world game changers. But how do we best raise awareness throughout humanity so that collectively the world's vibration is increased and we all unite to live in peace and harmony together as one? Tell me, please, ChatGPT, how do we do that? Fascinating answer.
Great, Paul. I think that's a real test to Google and Sundar Pichai, I guess. You put a great challenge in front of them. No, but I think, yeah, you're right. So, artificial intelligence can be great, but the human emotions and experiences, you won't be able to, relate to artificial intelligence that easily. There's a lot of uh, deep emotions into it, and then your expectations of a machine to answer you giving you some certain solutions cannot be what you say consistent throughout the aspects of life. So I guess by that note, I guess I probably we are closing close to the finish time. But I loved speaking to you, Paul. Great answers. I think I'm going to listen to this once again because it's a recorded session. And guys who all participated and asked the questions in this it was a short notice, isn't it? In a couple of days ago, we decided to come together, and I wish you good luck with the launch of this Kindle very soon. And we would love to hear more about this, probably via your posts in LinkedIn. And I hope to reconnect with you more and more in the future. And looking forward to do some good work in World Game Changers, Paul. And thanks very much for your time today. And thank you, everybody, all participants who are with us today.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks.